hour on Sight Sounds Flavors. Excuse me, I'm on the wrong channel. I'm actually not on Sight Sounds Flavors. I'm on everything else channel. I was just on Sight Sounds Flavors. But the two channels have so much in common that I mix them up. And we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna go with it because it's 11:01 in the evening. It's late. I want to get out of here, but I said I would do a live chat for everything else channel. And I'm all out of energy drink. And my big gulp is down to a couple of sips. But I want to tell you guys that I plan on making more videos on Darrell Brooks Jr. and the trial. O.J. Simpson died. And since we're talking about one murder, I figure let's talk about another one. O.J. Simpson lost his battle with prostate cancer. Guilty as sin of the murder of his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ron Goldman. I have no sympathy for O.J. And isn't it funny how he still wound up in jail even though he was acquitted of both murders? And of course, he was found liable in the civil suit. And, O.J. is someone that people talked about, continue to talk about 30 plus years after the trial. And I suspect Darrell Brooks Jr. on a much smaller scale will also be talked about for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, with the difference being that Darrell Brooks Jr. was found guilty and O.J. was not of the worst crime of his resume, because O.J. also committed strong-arm robbery and other criminal acts. But I feel that, he wasn't the only one that got away with murder. I mean, Robert Blake, the Beretta guy, who may still be alive, I don't know. I personally think he's guilty of sin of killing his wife, and he was able to get away with it as well. And Alec Murdaugh over in South Carolina may have been able to get away with it, but genius that he is, decided he was going to take the stand because, of course, as a prominent personal injury attorney that was able to sway juries to give huge settlements, maybe in his mind he figured he could sway the jury into thinking he was innocent, when in reality he was guilty as sin and got sent away for forever. Really, he's never going to get out. And the financial crimes also tack on a bunch of years. And even though the clerk in that case may have compromised the jury, it still wasn't bad enough to get him a new trial. So he will not be getting out anytime soon, if ever. But, it just goes to show you that, here's a guy who basically murdered his wife and his child and was trying to play it off as if somebody else, another suspect, and then to try to throw off law enforcement, actually tried to set up his own murder. He hired someone to try to kill him to throw the police off. You're talking about a grade A psychopath, you know what I mean? But I plan on making videos about all these cases because I think it's important and a lot of people want me to weigh in. And listen, guys, there's a lot of channels out there that will put on, hours and hours of trial footage without ever saying a single word. Now listen, hey, more power to them. If they want to cash in that way, that's great. But that's not what I do. I'll put on a 10 or 15, maybe 20-second clip max, and I'll talk for 10 minutes on it. And I'll invite you guys to leave comments. That's kind of the nature of what I do. But, people had said, listen, Christian, you hadn't done an Everything Else channel live chat in quite some time. We got 5 people on here. We got 4 thumbs up. Thank you for those thumbs up, guys. Those really help. If you want to throw a super chat, you can do that. Regulars, you don't have to throw a super chat. Just leave a comment here, and I'll answer whatever question you have. And whatever comment you want to share, I'll read it out loud so that everybody can watch this on replay. But like I said, it's 11:05 here in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm doing my last live of the night. And I tell you, once I leave here, I'll go home and I'll crack open a couple of Michelob Ultras on my porch, and I'll have energy all over again. I'll be up for another 3 hours. But right now, I'm in my private office in Middletown, and I just want to get out of here because, the battery is down to red. And when I started doing all the videos, it was full power. And like I said, my big gulp is down to just a few sips of Pepsi Max. But like I said, I do plan on talking a lot more about the trials. And if you guys missed it, this past Tuesday, April the 9th, when I was flying back from Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport to Louisville, I was able to tape a Spirit Airlines employee confronting a passenger and it went viral. It has over 8 million views on TikTok, 30,000 on YouTube, 30,000 on Instagram. It got picked up by the Daily Mail, which is a British newspaper, got picked up by the New York Post, and it also got picked up by MSN.com. How's it going, Diane Duncan? Hey, buddy, glad to see you on here. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate the comment here at 11:06 p.m. That is awesome that you're leaving me a comment. I really appreciate it, because I got to tell you something. You guys are the reason that I do this, Look, to be totally transparent, the channels are monetized. Some months I might make a few $100s. Other months I might make $20. I'm an attorney. That's my 9 to 5. That's how I make a living. I also got strengthaddicts.com and some websites that are sponsored. That's where I make my money. The money that I make on here is negligible, whether it's a few hundred or it's $20. What drives me to do this is Diane Duncan leaving a comment. It's the 4 people that have given thumbs up. It's the people that email me clips and want me to do a video. But it's also the people that leave me constructive criticism. Sometimes, feedback is not supposed to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. If somebody says, hey, quit saying you give Judge Darrell 97%, which I haven't done in a long time. You may not like to see that sort of comment or get that in an email or a text. Some of you guys have my number, actually. But you got to get beyond the ego and beyond, your self-esteem sometimes, and realize, why are they giving me this feedback? Is it to PO me? Is it to hurt my feelings? Or are they doing it because they love the channel and they want me to be able to reach more people by maybe doing something that maybe doesn't translate to people wanting to come back more? You know what I mean? If I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. Some people, for example, when they talk, they'll say, I really like this, but I just don't know. So I don't do that. But there are people that do that. So somebody might, maybe that's a regular, that loves the channel and generally is positive comments. They might say, hey, don't take this the wrong way, but you say pretty much every sentence. If you can maybe say a little bit less, maybe you'll get more views. You gotta look through the comment and understand they're not saying that because they're trying to make fun of you for saying They're saying it because if you say it a little bit less, you're gonna get more views. You're gonna get more hits. You're gonna have more reach. They're just trying to help. So that's why it's so important to have regulars and to listen to regulars. And a lot of the regulars are saying, hey, you haven't done a YouTube live in quite some time. You should do them more and you should be consistent about them. So guess what? I'm doing it. So, if there's any topic you guys want me to talk about, and this especially here, because this is Everything Else channel on YouTube, everythingelsechannel.com, everything goes. I mean, everything goes. So anytime you guys want me to do a video, by all means, you can DM me on Strength Addicts at Instagram. You can hit me up on TikTok. I should create an Everything Else channel TikTok. I've got one for Sight Sounds Flavors. I don't have one for Everything Else channel. Are you guys on TikTok? Is the government going to get rid of TikTok? You know that the geezers in DC, male and female geezers, because geezers can be any gender, they're trying to get rid of TikTok. And it's already passed the House and it's in the Senate. And Joe Biden, who, by the way, is using TikTok to campaign, has said that if it gets to his desk, he'll sign it, being a huge hypocrite. How can you sign something to make something illegal when you yourself are using it to campaign? Now, mind you, I'm a liberal. I voted for the guy. I won't be voting for him again. I am so unhappy with Joe Biden, but not unhappy enough to vote for Donald Trump. I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm going to vote. It's a civic duty to vote. It is not a civic duty, however, to vote between the lesser of two evils. That's just complete hogwash. If you want to subscribe to that, you can. In 2016, it's 11/11, guys. Make a wish. In 2016, I was a Bernie Sanders delegate for Kentucky. I was at the convention in Philadelphia. I held my nose when Hillary got the nomination, and I didn't vote for Hillary in the 2016 general. I voted for Dr. Jill Stein. And you know what? I have never regretted that decision, not once. So again, she wasn't going to win the election. She didn't even get enough to get campaign financing for the next election. But you know what? about 1% of Americans voted for her, and we all sleep just fine at night. I will never forget the 2000 election. I couldn't vote in 96 because I was born November 13th. And so I turned 18 a week and a half after the 1996 election, right? So I couldn't vote in that election, but I could vote in 2000. And I could not stand Al Gore and I couldn't stand Joe Lieberman. I hated them both. But then I voted for the lesser of two evils. And when I walked out of there, I felt dirty. Like I wanted to take a shower. And after the shower, I still felt dirty. I wanted to vote for Ralph Nader, and I didn't. And you never want to leave a polling location feeling dirty like that. And unfortunately, a lot of Americans can relate because we only have two parties. And sometimes both candidates aren't worth the paper the ballot is printed on, but people pick the lesser of two evils. If you ever vote third party, I think you're going to be really happy with yourself, just from a conscientious perspective, especially if you're between two POSs. Give yourself the luxury every so often and vote for someone that you actually believe in. Catherine Alley, I agree 100% with you about Judge Darrell. You are not wrong. I am in a courtroom almost daily, and I know that was not necessary to get an appeal. And that's such a great comment. Thank you so much, Catherine Alley. I'm also in court a lot. This whole thing about, not, giving Darrell grounds for an appeal as some sort of a justification for Judge Darrell being so soft with him hits the nail right on the head. And supporters of Judge Darrell will see Catherine's comment and they'll want to go to war with her. They'll see my feedback, my commentary, they want to go to war with me. Let me tell you something. If Sue Opper had been the judge, Darrell Brooks Jr. wouldn't have tried any of the shenanigans that he tried with Judge Darrell. And that's just a fact. Well, it's not a fact because, again, it's hypothetical. But it's as close to a fact as anything that I've ever said on this channel. So kudos to Catherine. I could not agree with you more. But in any event, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate everybody that came through. I hope that you will subscribe to Everything Else channel, even though I said initially this was Sight Sounds Flavors. Guys, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. I want to go to my porch and drink a couple of Michelob Ultras, which, by the way, I used to make fun of that beer. It's great. It has like 2.3 carbs or something. And you don't break the diet, and you still have, I'm still able to sit on my porch and just relax a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do here shortly. But I want to thank you guys for your support of Everything Else channel on YouTube, also Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube. If you haven't seen the video that I'm talking about, the Spirit Airlines employee and the passenger, you can go to Sight Sounds Flavors on TikTok and see it there. It's got like 8.6 million views. And I think it's something that you should definitely check out. Again, my motivation with making the video wasn't to get the employee fired. It wasn't to do anything like that. It was mainly, my hope was that the airline would see it and they would give that employee some coaching, maybe some better training. Also, the passenger in the matter did not have clean hands. She basically started the whole thing, but I don't think that the employee should have acted the way that she did. So it's an interesting 58-second video that you can watch at Sight Sounds Flavors on TikTok. And then I do a couple of commentary videos as well on the Sight Sounds Flavors YouTube channel. I also wrote a really good article. I think it's a good article. I wrote it, so but I'm subjective, over at sightsoundsflavors.com. So if you go sightsoundsflavors.com, hit enter, it'll take you to the article, and you can see the two videos of commentary. I want to thank Diane Duncan for her great comment, and I want to thank Catherine Alley for her great comment. And I want to thank everybody that has watched this edition of Everything Else channel on YouTube live, and everybody that will watch it on replay. Thank you very, very much. Please like, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and leave comments. Many comments down below. Thank you.